Good morning, good evening, good night, I'm BraveCarriesFr, and this is my Gardevoir EX deck profile. Now, this is the first one of these that I've done on this channel because I have never played a Pokemon tournament before. So, very exciting experience, very lovely experience. Everyone that I played against was an absolute pleasure to play against. And I played Gardevoir EX, as you can see in front of me. Fantastic deck, played really well. Only issue I may have with it is that every single round I sat down for a full 50 minutes, plus the 4 turns. So, yeah, this deck takes a hell of a lot longer to play, even though all the turns that we played were really, really fast-paced. But the deck felt absolutely fantastic, even if it's not the most optimal list. I just bought a bunch of cards and everything like that, just to sort of get like a first dip into what Pokemon TCG is sort of like, and this deck has been very fantastic. So, without wasting any more time, let's get into this. I haven't done anything like revolutionary, but I feel like I've made some, I don't know about weird choices, but I made some fun choices that made this deck feel absolutely phenomenal. So just getting into the Pokemon lineup to begin with, we got 2 Gardevoir. I feel like this is pretty standard. You could play 3. It feels a little unnecessary unless you constantly have them in the prize card section. So if that happens, I mean, maybe the 3rd one could come up, but for the most part, I think 2's fine, especially since you can recycle it really easily and commonly with the amount of cards that you're drawing in this deck. Which, speaking of the 4 Kirlia, yeah, no, this card's absolutely ridiculous, especially with Evo Machine, which I'll get into later. And then this is just the the way to start stacking these guys on top of this. This does nothing, actually. I don't think I ever attack with this. So, yeah, no, because I don't even think I ever attack with this. Actually, I don't think I attacked with any of this line before. There was a moment where I was able to attack with this. I didn't, because I already had game, like, before that thing was able to be switched out, but, right, okay. Bygones be bygones. Points a little irrelevant, but none of them ever attack. Now there's this dude. He's just here for support. He removes the damage counters off of your Psychic Pokemon that Gardevoir EX puts on. So it puts on 2 damage counters for each Psychic Energy that you attach to a Pokemon from the discard pile. And this is really, really stupid that Monkey Dory with a dark energy underneath it can just sort of keep sniping whatever you want to. It's really easy to pick up KOs in this deck once you get set up with a Monkey Dory. I actually love running this at 2 as well, because it means then if one's prized, I still have another one in the deck, or sometimes you can even get 2 in rotation at once. So then you can do like upwards of 60 damage bench sniping in 1 turn, and it's absolutely unreal. But he's usually paired with something like this, our main lineup of attackers. So yeah, the main lineup of attackers here are Screamtail, Fluttermane, and the Drifloons. I mean, Drifloon with can do anywhere from, on average, for me it was anywhere from 180 to 300 damage on some attacks, because of stuff like the Bravery Charm. All the attackers were absolutely fantastic. I used Screamtail a couple times, bench sniping, again, very fantastic, especially whenever you can do like 160 damage. And then Fluttermane was really good because you could just put 2 damage counters onto something, and then it's also a way to just like sort of put damage counters on the Pokemon so that Monkey Dory can snipe things. This card was really good too. I really enjoyed using this. And its ability, underrated as hell, especially by me. I actually completely forgot I had this until, was it a judge sort of noticed that this ability was in play because it was in the active spot, so my opponent's active abilities were turned off. This was this was ridiculous, actually. That gets a really, really neat Mon, while also being able to do, chip damage on 2 sets of Pokemon, or maybe 3 sometimes. It's very, very cool. Radiant Greninja is the first, one of the first sort of non-psychic support Pokemon. I mean, this is just another copy of Kirlia, basically, except it only discards energies, which is fine for the most part, because you just sort of send them all to the graveyard anyway. The discard pile. The other water support is this. I never came across a deck that did damage to bench Pokemon, from attacks, so this was not great, but I feel like it's gonna be good in some matchups. I suppose I'd rather have it than not have it, because at worst, it's a discard, at best, it helps me win games. And then Tatsugiri, never used this either, but it's pretty good because it's a track customers thing. You get to look at your top 6 and then reveal a supporter card. Never needed it though. The deck's consistency and ability to access support cards was absolutely unreal at any given moment, so never used it. But again, it's one of them things with Manaphy where I'd rather have it than not. You know what I mean? So that's our Pokemon lineup, and I feel maybe besides the 2nd Drifloon, everything here is very standard, but it feels very comfortable. Especially the 2nd Drifloon, this came up a lot. I did really enjoy just having like big damage from one, stacking it off, and then like using a different attacker to put in some extra damage, and then whenever I needed to put in another big push and I couldn't recover the first Drifloon, I had a second one in deck at all times. So that was always good. So going on to this, we have 4 Nest Balls, 3 Ultra Balls, and a Buddy Buddy Poffin. Well, actually, hold on, I have one extra consistency card. Where is it? It's the Artisan. To access the Pokemon. So, I was under the impression that I bought more copies of Buddy Buddy Poffin, but I didn't. But to be honest, I never really missed it. This kind of serves to just sort of put the Ralts, for the most part, just onto your bench, because it only can put things that are 70 HP or under. So, realistically, you're only really getting this or this, and the Nest Ball can get everything else. I did actually enjoy the Nest Ball more throughout the entire day, but I do feel like it's probably more optimal to run the Buddy Buddy Poffin. But I think I'm comfortable with the way that this list looks currently, so I think I'm just going to continue to run it like this. The 2 Artisan actually was unreal as well. It's just extra copies of like Nest Ball and Buddy Buddy. It's just the only thing is that your opponent can use it, but then when your opponent uses it as well, your deck benefits heavily off of it as well. And I like the 3 kind of the Ultra Balls, because then it means if I couldn't access any of this, the Curly or Gardevoir lineup, I could just sort of search them at any time if I got the access to this, and then just get my engine rolling. I did really enjoy the Ultra Ball kind. So and then like the last bit of consistency here to get some access to the what do you call it, the energies, the 2 earthen vessels. I think that this is perfect. 3 might be a bit too much. 1 I feel like it's a little too little. Yeah, because... And 0 is just wrong, because there was a game against Zard, which I did win, to be fair. But both of these were prized, and it was really hard to get to the energies, so it was more of a luck of the draw type thing. So if you can just minimize that, while also keeping it at an optimal ratio, like, I mean, the Earthen Vessel felt great. 2 counter catchers. I think I used this once, but it's one of them cards a game. Would rather have than not, especially since you know, all your guys are very squishy, and yeah, and you will often die. You're basically a single prize deck, where most of the mons that will die will give 1 prize to your opponent, okay, and then you'll be 1 prize down, you kind of catch or something, you put in some big damage, or you put them in a weird position, and then bam, suddenly you're in the lead again. This card was also crazy, speaking of like knockout Pokemon, like Pokemon that get knocked out, because your deck's really squishy, for the most part, like all your attackers. So this card was unreal, especially in combination with this. Against my Zard opponent, twice I Arvined into Unfair Stamp Devo and just blasted. I feel like both times I did this, it just auto won me the game, because I think one game he went from 9 cards in hand to 2 and couldn't recover that the entire game. And he had used so many rare candies by that point, where it was just like a luck of the draw thing. It's like, if he has it, he has it. If he doesn't, he doesn't type situation. So yeah, that was great. This card, hadn't used it much before, like even like online or in theory, but then like whenever I was playing, oh my god, Unfair Stamp is absolutely ridiculous. Hisuian Heavy Ball, just so you can get like some of your basics and your supports or your attackers and everything, because all of them are basics, so I feel like this is a good card to have. At worst, it's a discard, you know, so it is what it is. 2 recovery cards here. We get the Super Rod and the Night Stretcher. These are pretty good. You know, I think I use the Night Stretcher more than I use the Super Rod, but I do like that this just adds straight back to hand. So I use this more often to collect. Actually, to be honest, I think I want energies in the grave anyway, so it was mostly just like, I usually had like 1 energy in hand, or if something got put into like my front spot and I didn't have energies in my hand, I could get these and then try and get 1. Night Stretcher I actually really liked, because then that means, actually no, the energies aren't in here, but you could just grab an energy, put it onto something, and then retreat, and then bam, you're back in the game again. This card was pretty crazy. I really like Night Stretcher. And then for the tools, we have the double Evo, the 1 Devo, and the 1 Bravery Charm. I like this lineup. I think 3 Evo is too much. I think 1 Evo might be too little, and then the 1 Devo is perfect. The only thing is if I play against a deck that rare candy stuff like Zard and I just don't see this, then it could be a much harder matchup. But every time I was able to see it, it's just an auto win. I love the Devo now. At first I was sort of like, this card sounds trash, why am I playing this? And then in practice, it was crazy. So highly recommend this if you can play it. It's really strong, especially the Evo. This is what inspired me to go second after I saw my round 1 opponent, who was playing the same deck, use this going second. I was like, oh, okay, so going second is clearly the optimal move for this deck. And the Evo machine was unreal all day. Loved it. It really helped the ability of my engine to just get started and get rolling as fast as possible. Absolutely incredible set of cards. Then we go into the supporters and energies. So we play 10 supporters. I play the 4 Arvins, the 4 Ionos, 1 boss, and 1 Professor Turo scenario. These... I never saw the use of this, like, in the deck building process, but every list was running one, and I was just like, okay, you know what, let's just give it a go, see what happens. If I don't like it, I'll take it out. And this card's also crazy. This is a card I heavily underrated, just like Devo. It came up once, but it was really good because I could just return something to my hand. 3 energies came off of it, and then I was able to then start loading up all my other guys with energies and damage counters and just get my engine rolling again. Absolutely fantastic card. This, I feel like, is okay to run at 1 just because you have the counter catchers. So yeah, no, I mean, that's kind of exactly it. And then this is sort of like an extra bit of consistency up here. This card especially, unreal. Just being able to fetch basically exactly what card you want out of your deck. And because you lose prize cards like kind of fast, at least in my experience, this card was really good to just keep the game in your favor, even though you're technically in a disadvantageous spot. But then also, you know, it can help the consistency of your deck, because like sometimes I did find that I had some brick hands throughout the day, so this card being able to just sort of reshuffle my entire hand was great. It always did make me scared though that my opponent was able to do the same, because it shuffles both back. But here, you know what, it is what it is. The cards were great. I understand why everyone runs them. They're fantastic. And then I play 7 psychic energies. Ignore the fact that 1 is basic and the other one's like this one's just a common, and then the other ones are shiny. And then the 2 dark energies. These are for the Monkey Dories exclusively, but there have been situations where I just sort of attach them and then like retreat a Pokemon in some dire circumstances. But I feel like this lineup is perfect. I think 1's too little in case you prize it, and I think that more than 2 is too much, especially because you want all your energies in your hand to sort of be psychics, unless you search it out, obviously, to attach to the Monkey Dories. They're the only reason that you play the Dark Energy in this deck, and it feels very, very solid. And then the 7 psychic energies, I don't think you need any more than this. You could maybe play 8, but I actually just don't see what you would cut in this list besides maybe the 2nd Drifloon. But that's more of a comfort thing, and I really do appreciate having the 2nd Drifloon in the deck. So yeah, that is the lineup of... Actually, that's just my entire deck's lineup. That's the energy lineup and everything like that. So, first list, basic list. Didn't reinvent the wheel here, but it felt really strong and really fun to play too. But the only critique I have of this deck is that it takes forever to set up, because it's not a fast-paced deck like a lot of the other decks. Like Regidrago is a little faster than this. Zard is way faster than this. But when this deck gets set up and snowballing, it just feels like it felt way stronger than what I was looking at when my opponents were playing them. I didn't actually play against any Drago. So matchups, I played 3 rounds and I got I lost round 1 to the Mirror, which is how I learned mostly to play the deck. So that was really good. Like, you know, to get the experience of seeing someone who was better and more experienced than I was with the deck, to understand where I can do better and where I went wrong and everything like that, you know, and just sort of touch up on my Pokemon TCG like rulings in like my head and everything like that. So that was very helpful. I got 2-0'd, you know, it is what it is, but the other game, I went undefeated otherwise after that. Round 2, I played against Palafin Pile, which was really sick the way that it was being played. It was so cool. It acts like the way it does in the game. Absolutely fantastic deck, but it unfortunately lost to the fact that this deck has so much just shenanigans in it. And yeah, no, basically it is like 300 damage from 1 attack, and then another 30 by the Monkey Dory. So that means next turn it's like a guaranteed KO, so I take 2 more prize cards. The fact that it's a double prize attacking deck was definitely its biggest disadvantage, but it was really cool because it did 250 every time it attacked, and you keep switching and then it keeps resetting the attack. So that was really strong, especially since they could swap this in and then just delete the health off of it. Very cool deck. And then round 3 I played against Zard, and then I did the unfair Stamp Devo combo 2 games in a row, and it cooked. It was very good. So if you enjoyed the list, maybe consider dropping a like or a sub, give it a comment on what you think, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day. See you later.